Victor Black.
Victor Black.
Uncle Victor.
Victor Black Masterclasses.
Mr. Victor Black.
Virtual Victor, the safer use model.
Testosterone dosing, first cycle, old school thinking versus reality. When we talk about stepping into testosterone, the first question is always dosing. Historically, the advice was simple: 500 milligrams of testosterone per week for 12 weeks. Add an aromatase inhibitor. Run it for 12 weeks. Stop. Post-cycle therapy. Take the same time off that you were on. That was the standard forum advice for decades. But when you start questioning it, when you actually look at the evidence, it becomes clear this probably wasn't the best approach. Dose, response, and the Bashan study. One of the most important studies to understand here is the Bashan dose response study. This study followed 61 eugonadal men, ages 18 to 35, over a 20-week period. These men had normal baseline testosterone levels, roughly 550 to 650 nanograms per deciliter. Different groups received weekly testosterone doses ranging from 25 milligrams all the way up to 600 milligrams. The results clearly show how serum testosterone levels respond as dosage increases. Physiological versus supraphysiological dosing. At 125 milligrams per week, serum testosterone stayed roughly equivalent to natural production. This is essentially an HRT level dose. Injecting this amount does not push you beyond physiology, but it does stabilize levels. And interestingly, the group still gained lean mass over time. Once we move into 300 milligrams per week, serum testosterone rises to roughly 1300 nanograms per deciliter. Now we're clearly in supraphysiological territory, and muscle gain increases substantially. At 600 milligrams per week, testosterone levels exceed 2000 nanograms per deciliter, producing even larger gains, but with diminishing long-term logic. Why more isn't the smart starting point? The question isn't whether higher doses work. They clearly do. The real question is sustainability. If you start at 5 times your natural level, where do you go next? 2 grams per week? At some point, side effects force you to stop, take time off, and repair health markers. The smarter strategy is simple: get the most from the least, and only escalate when necessary. Health outcomes at higher doses. Even at 600 milligrams per week for 20 weeks, health outcomes were surprisingly mild. Hemoglobin increased only at the highest dose. HDL cholesterol decreased, but LDL cholesterol did not change. There were no significant changes in PSA, kidney markers, or liver enzymes. Acne was reported in some participants, and there was one report of erectile dysfunction. Overall, this tells us testosterone is relatively well tolerated, but that doesn't mean we should start at the top. Practical first cycle recommendation. For a first-time user, baseline labs come first, always. If 100 to 200 milligrams per week is considered replacement range, that becomes our starting framework. For most beginners, I recommend starting between 150 and 200 milligrams per week. If someone naturally sits around 400 nanograms per deciliter, 150 milligrams will already push them above baseline. If someone naturally sits at 800, 200 milligrams may be more appropriate. Start low, you can always move up. Timeline, labs, and long-term perspective. I recommend holding the initial dose for 8 to 10 weeks. Beginners still have enormous gains available from training quality, nutrition, sleep, and lifestyle optimization. At the 10-week mark, pull labs, confirm serum response, assess estrogen and DHT handling. Review health markers. If adjustments are needed, make them, but avoid rushing escalation. Over a 10 or 15-year horizon, a few conservative weeks at the start make no meaningful difference in progress. Female primer and close. For female athletes, the same principle applies. Baseline labs, if testosterone is below 40 nanograms per deciliter, careful replacement may be appropriate, typically 3 milligrams per week of testosterone enanthate or saperionate. For females, this remains replacement only, not supraphysiological dosing. Additional compounds are addressed separately in the female-specific module. Testosterone dosing is not about being aggressive. It's about being intelligent, measurable, and sustainable.
Victor Black.
Victor Black.
Uncle Victor.
Victor Black Masterclasses.
Mr. Victor Black.
Virtual Victor, the safer use model.